Coming up, the Dallas County, Missouri Sheriff confirms finding the remains of kidnapping victim Cassidy Rainwater. And students at St. Anne's Catholic School in Carthage get a chance to show off their hard work on a history project. Also, Carthage hosts hometown holidays with fun for the entire family and a synthetic ice skating rink.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach. We'll get to those stories in just a moment, but first, let's go to Michael Hayslip in the Skywatch Weather Center.
Cold front has sliced through officially. Our temperatures right now as low as 25 degrees is what we have in the Odyssey. Joplin hanging on to 35 and Miami at 37, but we've only got 140 that we see anywhere, and that is down in Jay. A whole bunch of mid-30s ranging throughout southwest Missouri. Now we factor in the old wind chill. Just about everybody is down into the 20s, even Fort Scott dropping as low as it feels like it's 19 degrees up in the fort. The Skywatch storm trackers, the clouds continue to dive off to the southeast, going to bring us plenty of sunshine. Eventually, as the big ridge of the jet stream kind of hanging over the Rockies and the trough taking all that thunderstorm activity to, say from about Arklatex up the Mississippi, and then heads towards the Ohio River Valley. But our temperatures this afternoon still going to be able to make it up into the 50s, so nice 20-degree bump from where most of us are right now, and we will be on the dry side here for quite a bit. Sunshine today, cold overnight, dropping down below freezing for Thursday night, Friday morning. Low clouds build there for Friday, but once again, no rain with it. As a matter of fact, we get to stay on the dry side all the way up until Sunday. Saturday's looking like a nice one as well, as we see the reemergence of the 60s and only have an overnight low around 50 for Saturday night and Sunday morning.
I'm looking forward to that overnight.
We need that right now.
Yeah, for sure. 28 is going to be really cold tonight.
Really, after we get through these next 2 days, these next 2 early mornings, 40 and 50 after that for lows.
Yeah, that won't be too bad.
Yeah.
But we got a few chilly ones in there to take care of. All right, thanks, Michael. The Dallas County, Missouri Sheriff says investigators have confirmed that a body found on the property of a kidnapping suspect is that of the victim, Cassidy Rainwater. And now prosecutors have filed new first-degree murder charges against James Phelps and Timothy Norton for Rainwater's death. The prosecutor also charged them with the abandonment of a corpse. They each faced kidnapping charges in Rainwater's disappearance. You can read more about this story on our website at koamnewsnow.com. All eligible adults in Kansas can now receive COVID booster shots. Governor Laura Kelly and the Kansas Department of Health and Environment announced on Wednesday all fully vaccinated Kansans over the age of 18 are now eligible for the booster. Those seeking a booster shot must still wait 6 months after their primary vaccination from either Moderna or Pfizer. The wait time for those who received the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is 2 months. Local health officials say they're ready to give the booster shots.
We do booster clinics twice a week that we advertise, but we don't turn anyone away. If they aren't able to come on the days that we kind of set aside for booster doses, as long as they can get here between Monday and Friday, we will help them.
Kentucky made a similar announcement yesterday, while Arkansas announced open booster availability on Monday. Students at St. Anne's Catholic School in Carthage on Wednesday presented all their hard work on a history project. 3rd through 6th grade students researched the lives, cultures, countries, and traditional foods of some Catholic saints. It's part of the school's annual cultural night.
It helped me get around the school, get to know the people. It helped me get better, not to be shy. It helped me with my social skills and about my saint and how because the more I do this project, the more saints I get to explore, and I get to talk about them with other people so they can know.
The event also featured a raffle. On Wednesday, Vision Carthage announced its holiday event plans. They're calling it Hometown Holidays, and it will run from November 26th through January 1st. The event will feature 5 activities, including a synthetic ice skating rink.
So, come into the village and enjoy all of the fun things, all the inflatables. They're kind of inflatables on steroids is what I call them. And then, and of course, experience the ice skating as well. It's a synthetic ice skating rink, so it's not real ice. So it doesn't matter if it's 70 degrees or 30 degrees like today. So.
General admission to the event will be $10 per person, but only $5 for Carthage residents. As the temperatures drop, some folks in Joplin are chasing the chill. It's an annual event aimed at collecting scarves, caps, and gloves to keep four-staters warm.
So we basically collect it, and then the second week of December every year we go out into the city with our volunteers. We attach it to a love note, we leave it on a bench, a tree, basically yarn bomb the city to let people know they can go out and get those. There's no expectations, requirements, or anything. You're just welcome to pick it up.
Chase the Chill says so far they've collected about 300 scarves. It's 5:07.
The chill outside. It comes in the form of temperatures below the freezing mark. Eventually, we're going to be dry this afternoon. Do want to point out, because we're going to be so dry and a little bit windy, elevated fire risk, especially for our southern counties. Highs in the low 50s today, back down below freezing for tonight into Friday morning. Setting up for a nice weekend, though. Got a whole bunch of sunshine headed our way next several days, and really not picking up any rain till Sunday.
That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, the 9-2 Frontenac Raiders keep their hopes of a state championship alive going into a game this Friday against 11-0 Holton. Plus, the Kansas City Chiefs give back to their community in a big way, and opioid overdose deaths soar to record highs during the pandemic. Experts and community members look for solutions. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
We still have 5 of our high school football teams alive for state championships this season. We'll start in Southeast Kansas. Frontenac Raiders, the last team in our area, still standing in SEK. Frontenac hosting Holton Friday night. It's a 3A state semifinal. The winner will move on to play for the state championship. Now the Raiders are 9-2 under head coach Mark Smith right there. Holton, undefeated. They come in at 11-0. Now these two teams actually met in the quarterfinals last year. Holton won it 42-6 and did so in Frontenac. Raiders know they're going to have to be a little bit more than good. They're going to have to be great tomorrow night if they want to flip that result on Friday.
They're going to come right at you every play. Last year we weren't physical enough against them, and they kind of just ran it down our throats, and we made us take it. So our kids are motivated for the challenge. We got to be sound in our gap responsibility. We got to be physical. We got to tackle low, and we got to force a few turnovers on defense. But on offense, we got to take care of the ball. We turned it over 3 or 4 times against them last year, and just on self-inflicted fumbles and things like that. So we got to move the ball on offense, take care of it, and just play hard.
Webb City Cardinals are district champions for the 22nd consecutive year. Last week, Cards topped undefeated Carthage 28-21. Moves Webb into the state quarterfinals. So the Cardinals back home this week with a chance to move on to the Final Four, and they get to host Lebanon on Friday night. Yellow Jackets, home of Jenny Plassmeyer, 10-1 headed into Friday. Cardinals are coming off a big emotional win over Carthage, took their time to celebrate, but they say since then it's been back to business for the 22-time defending district champs.
We took Saturday and Sunday off, didn't come in, just said, you guys enjoy this. Monday morning, we do a scouting report on Monday morning. I said, once we get to that point, we're not looking back, we're looking forward, and so this whole week, that's all we've thought about is trying to get ready for Lebanon.
We had fun, we loved it. It was a great experience, but we had to put that past us, because now we're on to bigger things, and we need to just work hard here so we can keep moving on.
Now, we started by saying we got a total of 5 teams left, so let's go ahead and break it down. We've got Friday night, the Grove Ridge Runners playing in the 2A quarterfinals, doing so against Elk City. That game's going to kick at 7 tomorrow night. Then on Saturday, that's right, Saturday afternoon, Lamar faces Ava. That's the Class 2 quarterfinals. They're going to kick at 1. And then, the Mexico Bulldogs making a trip to the 4 states as they will have to go and have a little meet up with the Seneca Indians. That's going to be the Class 3 quarterfinal. That game kicks at 2 p.m. Now, the winner moves on to the state Final Four. Pittsburgh State women's basketball team playing its home opener, also hosting the St. Mary's Spires. Pitt State 1-1 through their first 2 games. Senior Tristan Gegg been on fire lately. How about 59 total points in 2 games, including we put up 39 that one game. Home opener, it's a cool day for the team and the community. It's Kids Day. That means there's going to be a couple thousand elementary school kids in attendance. If you've ever been to one of the kids' games, trust me, they like to make plenty of noise.
My sophomore year, we played OBU for the kids game, our first home opener, and it was a blast. It helped us win, honestly, because it was a really close game, so we can't wait to hear all those screaming little kids cheering for us.
Not having it last year, I think, helps us all appreciate it even more. I know the teachers are extremely excited. I've heard a lot of chatter about it around town. I think it will just be an exposure event for some of our youth, and then, they might pick one of our players out that they just take an interest in, and so that part of it gets to be pretty cool.
Still to come on the KOM Morning News.
Since the world's first COVID case, I'm Ian Lee with a look at how this all started.
And a check on our 7-day forecast when the KOM Morning News returns. Well, prep yourself when you walk outside now. By the way, as we hit about 5:17 here, great time for weather on the 7th. It's a chilly one outside. There we are over 7th and Rangeline. The cold front has settled over us, and it's going to stick around here for a little bit. 35 degrees right now in Joplin. Wind obviously doing the complete shift, working in from the north-northwest with these actual temperatures. Majority of those below the freezing point throughout southeast Kansas. Now, southwest Missouri is still hanging on just above the freezing point, kind of 34 in Lamar and Carthage. However, Nevada's down to 28. And then in northeast Oklahoma, a little bit warmer, if you will, if we can call 37 warm in Welch and in Miami. Here's an idea about the wind. At least it's not coming in, 15 to 20 miles per hour. That would put a definite bite in our wind chills. But even with that being said, we still do see 19 is what it feels like in Fort Scott, 25 in Webb City, and 23 in Parsons. Compare that to where we were on Wednesday. Oh my goodness, 30-degree change from where we stand at 5:17 on Thursday morning to where we were at 5:17 on a Wednesday morning. Skywatch storm tracker, cloud cover dropping off along with the rain. It's now all the way down into southeastern and central Arkansas, so nothing really close to us. And here's the other thing, because we're going to be a little bit abnormally warm for our afternoons as the humidity plummets down, a little bit of an elevated fire risk, especially for our southern counties. So just be apprised of that. We don't have any red flag warnings or anything of that nature, but it's definitely worth talking about. Whole bunch of cold Canadian air making its way off the jet stream, and eventually this cold front's going to penetrate down to the deep south, all the way to the mid-Atlantic. Now it's going to take all that rain and continue to force it toward the northeast. And you can tell the blue indicating the high pressure, that pretty much dominates not only in most of west of the Mississippi, but really right over us as well. So the barometer is going to be on the rise, and that's an indicator of a whole bunch of morning and afternoon sunshine. End up with a 20-25 degree difference here. So we'll make it up into the mid-50s later on this afternoon. Northwest wind will stay 10 to 15 miles per hour, and then overnight for Friday morning, right back down below the freezing mark. Now here's the thing, once we get into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you notice our temperatures do begin to creep up for the afternoon hours. And the cloud cover Friday afternoon and evening, that'll help trap in anything that we do get, and that keeps us in the 40s there for Friday night into Saturday morning. We were just talking about those football games, so you're still gonna need to bundle, but at least it could be worse. Could be colder, I won't say worse, could be colder if you were playing today for sure. And then by Saturday, we're right back up into the 60s again. Time now to turn our attention to the KOM News Now Facebook page and our morning Insta poll. Kansas City Chiefs helping out the less fortunate this holiday season. And to kick things off, we take a look at a local family who got a big surprise.
A surprise Casey mom Maria Flores had no idea was coming. 6 months of utilities paid, a free holiday meal, and toys for the kids.
That's something amazing.
Maria lost her husband 2 years ago and has been raising 4 kids on her own.
I basically got no help from nobody else.
Very touching because a lot of people can relate to that.
Former Chiefs defensive back Mark Collins says it feels pretty good to give to folks who need it.
With a check like that, I mean, it takes a big burden off of bills.
Every year, thousands of Kansas City families are in need at the holidays. That's why this group says it's so important to help this time of year.
We include things that are going to be nutritious, the food options. We include things that are going to have some social emotional development to them.
The Chiefs say Arrowhead will be packed on Sunday, more than 70,000 fans ready for the game. They say if just each and every one of them brought one Toys for Tots, imagine the smiles on kids' faces this holiday season.
We would beat our goal by 15,000.
Our question for you this morning is, how will you help for the holidays? 2 ways to connect with us, either our Facebook page or go to koamnewsnow.com/vote. Be back with Healthwatch next.
Topping Healthwatch this morning. New research shows America's opioid epidemic has reached unprecedented levels during the COVID-19 pandemic. Michael George spoke to a grieving mother about what needs to be done to help people battling addiction.
Jonathan Drescher struggled with opioid addiction and went to a treatment center earlier this year. When he was released, his mother Lori says there wasn't an aftercare plan.
They sent him home early, and he went home and he used, and he died that night. There were no supports for him.
New data shows more than 100,000 drug overdose deaths in the U.S. from April 2020 to April 2021, a 28.5% increase from the year before. Overdose deaths from opioids climbed past 75,000.
It's increasing drastically.
Louis LeBoy runs an addiction treatment center in New York City. The pandemic brought more stress and isolation, and in some cases disrupted key support systems.
A lot of individuals that are getting caught up as a result of what's been going on with the pandemic, with COVID-19, with homelessness, unemployment, and looking for relief from this pain, misery, and suffering, they look at the drugs as an outlet.
The drug naloxone, also known as Narcan, has saved countless lives by reversing overdose symptoms. But due to manufacturing problems and high costs, there's now a nationwide shortage.
It is the #1 resource that we use. Without it, we're going to fall short.
Treatment providers say they desperately need more resources. Lori's son's battle led her to become a certified addiction and recovery coach.
It would have been really easy for me to give up the work that I do when I lost my son. And I was tempted. But what keeps me going is every day I walk into my classes.
Lori says one thing we all can do is have more compassion for people struggling with addiction. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
The federal government has allocated billions of dollars to fight opioid addiction in recent spending bills. Addiction experts say they hope to see more support put into medication-assisted treatment and promoting safer drug use. That's a look at one of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
It's a cold one outside. We're as low as 26 degrees in Neodesha and in Parsons. We've been holding on to 35s and 34s in southwest Missouri. That's where we see Joplin, Carthage, and Monette. And then well above the freezing mark down to the south with 37 in Miami and 38 already in Anderson. Eventually, we're going to have clear skies tomorrow. I'll jump ahead of myself here. Don't forget Lunar Eclipse coming up tomorrow early in the morning. We'll talk about that here a little bit later. Highs in the 50s later on this afternoon, a 7-day forecast. Sets us up for a nice weekend. We're going to be sunny and dry, just chilly here for this morning and then overnight into Friday morning as well.
Coming up, the Dallas County, Missouri Sheriff confirms finding the remains of kidnapping victim Cassidy Rainwater. And students at St. Anne's Catholic School in Carthage get a chance to show off their hard work on a history project. Also, Carthage hosts hometown holidays with a synthetic ice skating rink.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is 5:30. I'm Tanya Bach. We'll get to those stories in just a moment, but first, let's go to Michael Hayslip, the Skywatch Weather Center.
First off, it's cold to start, but I need to talk about something because by the time we get to it tomorrow, it's going to be in full effect. because it's going to peak at 3 a.m. tomorrow.
You're talking about the moon?
The micro beaver full moon eclipse.
It's beautiful. Well,
It's a micro moon. It's also the beaver moon. And it's also a near full lunar eclipse.
I'm curious why it's a micro.
It's the farthest away that we'll have a new moon this year.
Okay.
Remember, the super moon is when it gets really close. This is the exact opposite.
Well, the reason why I'm saying micro is weird because you go look at it right now. You have such a clear image of it, and it looks so big.
Right.
Yeah.
Imagine what it would look like if it was the old super moon.
Ooh.
Remember the old super blood moon?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the micro beaver max eclipse.
So anything that's going on tonight or tomorrow, it's going to get crazy, right?
3 a.m. tomorrow morning. 3 a.m. tomorrow morning is when it'll max out. And of course, that is when the Earth moves in front of the shadow. The Earth's shadow will be blocking the moon, but you'll see a red outline around it. It's going to be about 97% eclipse.
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. Pretty neat. And anyway, it actually, to find one that aligns like this, it dates back to the 1400s.
Wow.
Isn't that something else? All right, now we can talk a little bit about Thursday morning. It's just cold. That's what we got. 35 degrees is where we stand right now, over 7th and Rangeline. Our temperatures, we got a whole bunch of people that are below the freezing mark. It gets a little bit better in southwest Missouri and northeast Oklahoma. And we've got wind chills in effect that are as low as 19 degrees right now in Fort Scott. Everybody pretty much sitting in the 20s as far as what it feels like. Well, cloud cover we do have diving off to the southeast. We're going to be very, very dry for the next 3 days to the point where a little bit of an elevated fire risk down to the south. Temperatures this afternoon up into the 50s, a little bit cooler than what we'd anticipate, but a whole bunch of sunshine. And really, we don't have any weather concerns other than trying to get a little warmer, because even tonight into Friday, when you go out and look at the old partial, the almost full, technically it's a partial, lunar eclipse. It's going to be cold tomorrow night too, but should have clear skies to enjoy it.
All right, well, that's good that we're going to have those clear skies though, because
yeah, it'll be nice.
It'll be very nice.
If you want to get officially started with it, it's a 6-hour event, but when it starts at midnight, you're not going to notice it. Your best bet, if you want to see it at its max, is going to be 3 a.m.
Yeah, and by 6 a.m., I mean, you're starting to get sunrise involved with it, so that's even
Come
tougher.
sit with the hay slips out on the front lawn if you want.
Hey, we'll be here checking it out.
No, I'm not coming in until I get a couple shots of it. I got the old telescope already hooked up and whatnot.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get some pictures of it.
Hey, and make sure if you guys take some pictures, send them to us too, for sure. All right, thanks, Michael. Well, the Dallas County, Missouri Sheriff says investigators have confirmed that a body found on the property of a kidnapping suspect is that of the victim, Cassidy Rainwater. And now prosecutors have filed new first-degree murder charges against James Phelps and Timothy Norton for Rainwater's death. The prosecutor also charged them with the abandonment of a corpse. They each face kidnapping charges in Rainwater's disappearance. You can read more about this story on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. The state of Kansas announces it is opening vaccine boosters to all eligible adults. KOAM's Chris Warner spoke with the Crawford County Health Department about this announcement.
On Wednesday, Governor Laura Kelly and the Kansas Department of Health and Environment announced the COVID booster shots will be open to all vaccinated Kansans ages 18 and up.
It puts the decision, to the individual themselves for them to kind of assess what they feel like their exposure risk is at home, at work, out in the community.
There are still some restrictions in place. The first we mentioned, you must be 18 or older, and depending on which vaccine you received, there's a wait time. If you received the Pfizer or Moderna vaccine, you must wait 6 months before getting a booster. That time is only 2 months if you got the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Teddy Van Cam with the Crawford County Health Department says the boosters are important to keep everyone safe beyond the length of initial vaccination.
The vaccine's doing its job, because even if someone does become ill, the illness is very mild. They stay out of the hospital, off of ventilators, and, their chances of dying are much, much smaller.
Van Cam says vaccine supply for boosters is not a concern, and she encourages you to get yours as soon as you're eligible.
We do booster clinics twice a week that we advertise, but we don't turn anyone away. if they aren't able to come on the days that we kind of set aside for booster doses, as long as they can get here between Monday and Friday, we will help them.
In Crawford County, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
Kentucky made a similar announcement yesterday, while Arkansas announced open booster availability on Monday. Students at St. Anne's Catholic School in Carthage on Wednesday presented all their hard work on a history project. 3rd through 6th grade students researched the lives, cultures, countries, and traditional foods of some Catholic saints. It's part of the school's annual cultural night.
It helped me get around the school, get to know the people. It helped me get better, not to be shy. It helped me with my social skills and about my saint and how because the more I do this project, the more saints I get to explore, and I get to talk about them with other people so they can know.
The event also featured a raffle. On Wednesday, Vision Carthage announced its holiday event plans. They're calling it Hometown Holidays, and it will run from November 26th through January 1st. The event will feature 5 activities, including a synthetic ice skating rink.
So, come into the village and enjoy all of the fun things, all the inflatables. They're kind of inflatables on steroids is what I call them. And then, and of course, experience the ice skating as well. It's a synthetic ice skating rink, so it's not real ice. So it doesn't matter if it's 70 degrees or, 30 degrees like today, so.
General admission to the event will be $10 per person, but only $5 for Carthage residents. That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, experts warn hackers sponsored by the Iranian government have targeted America's critical infrastructure, including transportation and healthcare. Plus, researchers in Scotland and Finland put their heads together to try and come up with a phone for dogs. We'll have the latest, but first, 5:37.
Bundle, anywhere from, say it's about 25 to 35 degrees outside. A couple 37s down to the south, but it's chilly no matter where you are. Afternoon planner is eventually going to put us up into the 50. A lot of sunshine, not only for today, but also Friday and Saturday as well. We will drop below freezing once again for tonight into Friday morning. Be back with World Watch next.
Topping World Watch 2 years ago today, China recorded the world's first known case of COVID-19. Since then, the virus has killed more than 5 million people globally and infected nearly 255 million. CBS's Ian Lee reports.
Even as China vaccinates millions against COVID, the origins of the virus remain a mystery. Efforts to discover how it started have come up empty-handed. Beijing is stonewalling international investigators, barring any further visits to Wuhan, where the pandemic emerged 2 years ago.
The COVID pandemic.
Chinese President Xi Jinping hasn't left the country since the outbreak. This week, he and President Biden held a virtual meeting with the virus, one of many topics on the table.
It was a good meeting. We got a lot to follow up on.
The two main theories continue to be COVID either jumped from animals to people in a local market or escaped from this Chinese lab, which was experimenting with a similar virus. Experts say we may never know the source of COVID-19, but the virus is still killing people around the world. In Russia, hospitals struggle to keep patients alive. Each day is deadlier than the last. While in Germany, this intensive care unit is full, and doctors worry how much longer they can cope. Parts of Europe have taken a tough line against the unvaccinated, with many countries imposing new restrictions in the run-up to Christmas. Police in Austria are on the lookout for anyone unvaccinated. Those without the shot can't leave their homes except for work, food, or medical reasons. Ian Lee, CBS News, London.
Well, during a recent U.S. intelligence review, one agency said it's moderately confident the virus was a result of a lab accident. But China dismissed the allegation and accuses Washington of politicizing the pandemic. Germany has recorded its highest number of new infections since the start of the pandemic. More than 65,000 new cases were reported within the last 24 hours, and according to the country's Disease and Control Center, that's over 12,000 cases higher than the day before. Germany's health experts say one reason for the spike is the country's full vaccination rate. Currently, it is just over 67%, which is one of the lowest vaccination rates in Western Europe. The outgoing Chancellor, Angela Merkel, has described the situation as, quote, dramatic. Today, the three political parties negotiating to form the next government will debate a new draft law that would impose stricter rules. In Great Britain, the Royal Air Force and Zero Petroleum have won a Guinness record for the world's first successful flight using only synthetic fuel. Aircraft completed a short flight powered by synthetic gasoline at Cotswold Airport in Gloucestershire, England, early November. Federal officials warn that Iranian government-sponsored hackers are working to take down a wide range of targets within America's critical infrastructure. Multiple sectors are at risk, including transportation and healthcare. In some cases, the hackers have already deployed ransomware against those targets. Let's look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. Let's toss it over to Michael for our Something to Talk About.
Hey, Tanya, this morning on the KOAM News Now Facebook page and our morning Insta poll, service during the holidays. Kansas City Chiefs have quite a reputation for giving back to the community in a multitude, and they do so in big ways. Take, for example, this past Sunday. Chief hosted the Raiders at Arrowhead, but they also hosted their annual Toys for Tots drive. Those toys making a lot of difference to a family struggling to get by and may not have the funds for things like Christmas present. A spirit of giving that takes many other forms as well, not just the Chiefs, but for many members of you right here in the 4 states. Our question for you specifically, how will you help out for the holidays? Right now, I've got 37% of you saying you donate money and goods. 63% of you say, hey, it doesn't matter what, but I do put my time effort forth during the holidays. And we gave you about 5 different options right there. 2 ways to connect, either via our Facebook page or if you want to go directly to the poll, koamnewsnow.com/vote. We'll be back with the news you need to know before you head out the door right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. All eligible adults in Kansas can now receive COVID booster shots. Governor Laura Kelly and the Kansas Department of Health and Environment announced on Wednesday all fully vaccinated Kansans over the age of 18 are now eligible for the booster. Those seeking a booster shot must still wait 6 months after their primary vaccination from either Moderna or Pfizer, and 2 months for those who received the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Students at St. Anne's Catholic School in Carthage on Wednesday presented all their hard work on a history project. 3rd through 6th grade students researched the lives, cultures, countries, and traditional foods of some Catholic saints. It's part of the school's annual cultural night. On Wednesday, Vision Carthage announced its holiday event plans. They're calling it Hometown Holidays, and it will run from November 26th through January 1st. The event will feature 5 activities, including a synthetic ice skating rink. Pittsburgh Area Chamber is bringing a new series to the area aimed at women-owned businesses. The Women in Business Entrepreneur Series is taking place in 4 parts to help people get a jump start on their businesses. It's aimed at both those who already own stores and women who want to get started. The classes will help women in the area learn how to turn their ideas into success. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
Normally this time of year, we would expect an average low to be around 36 degrees. Well, we have been well below that in a number of 4 state communities on this Thursday, the 18th. Joplin sits right there, right at 35 degrees over 7th and Rangeline. 2 things to point out here when we take a look at the old almanac. Number 1, we've got the barometer on the rise on that bottom line. That's going to be an indicator of plenty of blue sky and sunshine, but also too that humidity already so low at 59% shows you that this is going to be a very, very dry 2-day span. Here's a look at our temperatures. We've got anywhere from really 26 to 37. Anderson hanging in there at 39. Still, about half the places squarely below the freezing mark. Wind, luckily, it's only coming in at 5 to 10 miles per hour right now, because that would make a huge difference in our wind chills. Even with that being said, Fort Scott only feels like it's 19 degrees right now, and compare that to where we were at this point in time yesterday. Oh, okay. We've dropped 30 degrees in the span of one morning. Skywatch storm tracker, any clouds hanging on along I-44 and down to the south. Those will be a thing of the distant past. And then as we transition out to what's out to the west of us, nada. And that is why we've got that elevated fire risk, because we're not going to pick up any Gulf moisture, the humidity is going to drop, and the wind is eventually going to pick up to about 10 to 15 miles per hour. I see the high pressure right there, so at least our daytime is going to bring us a whole lot of sunshine, not only for Thursday, but Friday as well. And we have no watches or warnings in effect. We've got to remember a lot of it is based not only on geography, but also to time of year. And so the fact that we should be down around 36 for an average low really wasn't enough for the National Weather Service bureaus in our area. Remember, we got about 3 of them we got to keep tabs on to issue anything. But that doesn't mean it's not cold when you walk outside. Afternoon planner highs in the 50s. Overnight, we're going to drop back down below freezing. This one will be a little bit more widespread for tonight into Friday as well. But some Friday cloud cover for the afternoon and evening is going to allow us to trap in a little heat and take temperatures up into the 60s by the time we wrap up Saturday. We'll be back with more KOM Morning News right after this.
A Wichita State University basketball player played well enough Tuesday night to get a double-digit win, but it's his contribution after the game that has many talking. Instead of leaving the arena to celebrate, junior guard Dexter Dennis stayed to help some of those who support him the most. Haley Tucker has his story.
What do you think about that? I think that's admirable that he's cleaned it up.
Just 30 minutes after suiting up for the Shockers, Wichita State men's basketball star Dexter Dennis is here, helping clean up trash in the stands.
Insane that someone who just played the game helps clean up the stadium.
Some tell me after seeing the video, they're an even bigger fan of Dexter Dennis for staying late to help the staff. And the facilities director for Wichita State says it can take up to 3 hours after every game to clean Koch Arena. And to see a student athlete do this is inspiring.
We have several folks who have been here for decades, and I know for some of them that's probably the first time they've seen something like that happen. And I just, from our custodial staff out to him, we just want to say thank you for leading and showing us that there's still folks out there that recognize the hard work that's done around here.
Dexter declined doing an interview because he says he doesn't want the publicity. He just wanted to help. But he tweeted this, saying, "Didn't do it for attention, just gives me perspective on life. It could always be worse." The star played 30 minutes, going 3 for 4 from the field and ended with 13 points. He also moved into the top 10 all-time for career three-pointers in Shocker history. But instead of leaving to celebrate, he stayed at Koch Arena to help those who support him the most.
Well, no one asked Dennis to take to the stand to help pick up trash. Some are saying they're now even bigger fans. I can see why. Well, pet owners spend a lot of time calling their dogs, calling them from mealtime, calling them from the backyard, and calling them out when they misbehave. And now animal tech researchers are working on a way for dogs to call their owners. Fido on the phone, if you will. Jeannie Moose reports.
When you pick up the phone and say, hello, you don't expect this from the other side.
Hello, yes, this is dog.
Cartoon becomes semi-reality as animal tech researchers at universities in Scotland and Finland experiment with dog phone. No, it doesn't look anything like a human phone.
It's a soft ball with a technology device on the inside of it.
Actually buried inside a tennis ball within the ball. When Ileana Hersky Douglas's dog, Zach, moved the ball, it triggered the nearby Dog Height laptop to ring. Zach's owner answered the call, and the two would end up face to face with audio and video if he didn't ignore her. During a 16-day experiment, Zach the lab called often.
It was about 5 times a day.
And when he didn't call,
he wouldn't ring me through the day, and I'd be thinking, oh, he usually rings me at this time.
Commercial companies like Pet Chats have tried combining remotely operated treat dispensers with a paw call that sends the owner a text alert. But no one really knows if pets are intentionally calling their owners.
Some days he would sort of lean on the ball and then he would ring me from this, either with his butt or with his shoulder.
Maybe this is all just one big doggy butt dial. After all, dogs like to say hello from behind. Jeannie Moose, CNN, New York.
Leave it to Jeannie to use the doggy butt dial line. I like that. We'll be right back with another look at the forecast.
There it is. I knew I could get a good shot of it. That is the moon on our Thursday morning. Ah, there we go. Now we go film noir. I see how we roll. Anyway, it's cold when you walk outside, that is for sure. We'll start with our temperatures, then we'll get to our wind chills. Because right now we're anywhere from about, say 29. We got a couple 26s out there. 39's as high as we get. We have yet to get a 40 on the board. So make sure that you and the kiddos are both bundled up when you walk outside. Now the wind hasn't been too bad. It's actually coming in from the north-northwest, but only doing so at 5 to 10 miles per hour. It'll pick up about 10 to 15 here a little bit later. It's also going to be abnormally dry today. So we're going to talk about an elevated fire risk for our far southern counties. There's what it actually feels like. The lowest we've gotten is 19 down in Fort Scott. Now, since we've got a little time here, I want to talk about what's going to transpire tomorrow morning. We're going to have a partial lunar eclipse. And the best time to watch it in the 4 states when it's at its max is going to be around 3 a.m. tomorrow morning. But once again, it is going to be cold tomorrow morning as well. This information courtesy of timeanddate.com. They've got a wonderful website. You can type in your exact location and find out when the max is as well. And of course, we'll follow that through the course of tomorrow's show.
Coming up, the Dallas County, Missouri Sheriff confirms finding the remains of kidnapping victim Cassidy Rainwater. And students at St. Anne's Catholic School in Carthage get a chance to show off their hard work on a history project. Also, Carthage hosts hometown holidays with fun for the entire family and a synthetic ice skating rink.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is 6 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach. We'll get to those stories in just a moment, but first, let's go to Michael Hayslip in the Skywatch weather.
Shot of the moon hanging over 7th and Rangeline right there. It's beautiful and bright and as big as can be. And remember, tomorrow we've got a partial lunar eclipse on our hands. Max time to see it in the 4 states going to be 3 a.m. Friday morning. As far as here we sit at 6 o'clock on a Thursday morning, it's a cold one. 34 degrees with a dew point slipping all the way down to 22, an indicator of how dry it's going to be today. Whole bunch of 20s throughout southeast Kansas, whole bunch of 30s in southwest Missouri. Miami and Grove have been pretty steady at 37 miles per hour. Wind moving in from the north-northwest, creating a little bit of a wind chill that has it feeling like it's 19 in Fort Scott, 22 in Nevada. How about Carthage slipping down to a wind chill of 17? That'll be our new low for the morning. Nationally speaking, get a whole bunch of sunshine. The cloud cover, just about a thing of the past as it kind of rides I-44 right now. And we're going to need it because that will be able to lift us up into the low to mid 50s. That's that warm weather. That's a thing of the past here for the next couple of days because look at this. Overnight, if you want to get out and watch the old eclipse tomorrow morning, it's going to be below freezing as well. Luckily, after that, our overnight lows get substantially better. Friday's 40, Saturday's 50. Good looking weekend. Those shots for rain that we see on Sunday and Monday, we've got a front that's going to move in from Canada. Thing is, we don't have a whole lot of Gulf moisture to go along with it, and so that rain is not going to be widespread.
That's good. I'm
hey,
sure
as long
some people
as
are going to want to take advantage of the little bit warmer temperatures over the weekend.
Weekend's going to be great. Next week, pretty seasonable. A little bit chilly there on Monday and a Tuesday, but by that point in time, we're talking about being the latter third of November too.
There you go. All right, thanks, Michael. The Dallas County, Missouri Sheriff says investigators have confirmed that a body found on the property of a kidnapping suspect is that of the victim, Cassidy Rainwater. And now prosecutors have filed new first-degree murder charges against James Phelps and Timothy Norton for Rainwater's death. The prosecutor also charged them with the abandonment of a corpse. They each faced kidnapping charges in Rainwater's disappearance. You can read more about this story on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Students at St. Anne's Catholic School in Carthage on Wednesday presented all their hard work on a history project. 3rd through 6th grade students researched the lives, cultures, countries, and traditional foods of some Catholic saints. It's part of the school's annual cultural night.
It helped me get around the school, get to know the people. It helped me get better, not to be shy. It helped me with my social skills and about my saint and how I because the more I do this project, the more saints I get to explore, and I get to talk about them with other people so they can know.
The event also featured a raffle. Pittsburgh Area Chamber is bringing a new series to the area aimed at women-owned businesses. The Women in Business Entrepreneur Series is taking place in 4 parts to help people get a jump start on their businesses. It's aimed at both those who already own stores and women who want to get started. The classes will help women in the area learn how to turn their ideas into success.
Learn what the difference is between a corporation, an LLC, cash flow, what those projections are like, and also we will have a panelist discussion there from 3 women-owned businesses that have started their own business and are in their own building.
The series will kick off December 2nd. On Wednesday, Vision Carthage announced its holiday event plans. They're calling it Hometown Holidays, and it will run from November 26th through January 1st. The event will feature 5 activities, including a synthetic ice skating rink.
So, come into the village and enjoy all of the fun things, all the inflatables. They're kind of inflatables on steroids is what I call them. And then, and of course, experience the ice skating as well. It's a synthetic ice skating rink, so it's not real ice. So it doesn't matter if it's 70 degrees or, 30 degrees like today, so.
General admission to the event will be $10 per person, but only $5 for Carthage residents. As the temperatures drop, some folks in Joplin are chasing the chill. It's an annual event aimed at collecting scarves, caps, and gloves to keep 4-staters warm.
So we basically collect it, and then the second week of December every year we go out into the city with our volunteers. We attach it to a love note, we leave it on a bench, a tree, basically yarn bomb the city to let people know they can go out and get those. There's no expectations, requirements, or anything. You're just welcome to pick it up.
Chase the Chill says so far they've collected about 300 scarves. 6:07.
And here's the cloud cover that we are still clinging to along and south of I-44. Very, very dry though. Don't worry about any rain for really the next 3-4 days. Temperatures ranging as low as 26. Now look at Anderson down in southwest Missouri, bottom right-hand corner, bumping up to 41. We're doing something right down there. Afternoon planner will eventually lift us up into the mid-50s with a whole bunch of sunshine. Get ready for additional freezing temperatures overnight for Thursday into Friday. Good looking weekend though. We got the reemergence of the 60s by Saturday.
All right, that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News.
The man who shot and killed Ahmaud Arbery takes the stand in his own defense. I'm Bradley Blackburn with the emotional testimony from Travis McMichael and the Arbery family's reaction.
Plus, healthcare worker vaccination rates are out, and we tell you the surprising results. Apple is finally letting its customers begin to repair their own Apple products. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Beat the Black Friday crowds with huge savings this weekend at Ashley Home Store. Save.
In Consumer Watch this morning, retail sales are on the rise as Americans start their holiday shopping, but many businesses are struggling to meet the demand and find enough workers. Meg Oliver visited one business that's turning to high school students to fill the gaps.
We get a little bit here and there, but we just really aren't getting the responses we used to get.
Jessica Woodward runs Montclair Bread Company. She doesn't usually hire seasonal workers, but this year she's relying on them to stay open.
It's going to be a little crazy next week, especially for Thanksgiving. That's our biggest one to get through, but I mean, we'll get through it.
She's working extra hours to get by and turning to high schoolers.
Could you stay open on the weekends without your high school employees?
Probably not forever, or not always. We can handle it in the short term, but it's just like all our other staff would get burned out.
It's not just mom and pop shops that need more employees. Big retail chains are expected to hire around 600,000 seasonal workers to keep up with the growing demand, according to the National Retail Federation. Amazon is hiring 150,000 new employees, Kohl's needs about 90,000, and UPS needs to hire more than 100,000 workers. Larger companies are also offering more incentives to attract new employees. Amazon, Walmart, and Macy's are among many raising wages and offering signing bonuses, healthcare benefits, and even tuition reimbursement. But many small businesses can't compete.
And I think that's what the customers getting frustrated with service being slower in places like have to understand that that's the way things are going to be right now.
Businesses like this bakery are facing a perfect storm with increased demand, staff shortages, and rising prices for ingredients like flour and shortening. Meg Oliver, CBS News, Montclair, New Jersey.
Stocks fell on Wednesday. The Dow dropped 211 points. The Nasdaq lost 52. The S&P 500 was down 12. The strike at John Deere is over. Workers approved a new contract last night, ending the month-long walkout. After rejecting two previous offers, members of the United Auto Workers approved the deal 61 to 39%. It comes with immediate 10% raises, changes to health care, and improvements to the pension plan. Well, get ready for Thanksgiving to gobble up your wallet. This year, the cost of a turkey is $1.50 a pound. I didn't pay that much. But anyway, it's up 24% from last year. That's according to the American Farm Bureau Federation. However, the Farm Bureau says that number may drop because that's based on prices from 2 weeks ago, before grocery stores started heavily featuring turkey and offering Thanksgiving sales on the bird. The average cost of a typical feast for 10 people is a little more than $5 a person. Apple users will finally be able to fix their own equipment. Early next year, the company will launch an online store to sell more than 200 parts and tools. Only newer versions of the iPhone and Mac computers will be available for these self-repairs. Well, you may have noticed that your grocery bills are going up if you can find everything you need. Lawmakers have noticed too, and they held a hearing yesterday to discuss the supply chain issues that are causing the problem. Natalie Brandt has more details from Capitol Hill.
From Christmas shopping to the Thanksgiving turkey, the global supply chain crisis is driving up prices this holiday season.
Some people have asked, is it increased because of the demand? It is not because of the demand. The increase is just to cover our base costs, how they've increased from last year.
It is truly a crisis. Thanksgiving stands to be the most expensive ever.
The House Transportation Committee heard from industry experts and asked them about the status of the Biden administration's plan to get ports moving 24/7 to help clear the backlog.
The head of the Port of Long Beach says they're testing a pilot program at his port, but a widespread change could take longer.
You just can't flip a switch and change this model today, but the good news, there's a lot of conversation in terms of that being the objective.
As of late last week, the backlog of ships in a holding pattern off the coast of Southern California sat at more than 80 vessels. But the problem doesn't end there. The trucking industry says the pandemic has worsened the shortage of truck drivers.
Truckers entered COVID-19 short 61,500 drivers, now at 80,000 short as we exit the pandemic.
Drivers say they're also losing time and money as they sit outside ports waiting for cargo containers.
It's just one choke point of many, and you can stay open 24/7. You just got to have more people putting in the time at those ports to move those containers.
In addition to getting more workers on the docks, experts say America's major ports are in desperate need of modernization. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Lawmakers touted $17 billion in the newly passed bipartisan infrastructure bill dedicated to upgrading ports and waterways. That's it for Consumer Watch. We'll be right back.
At 6:17, roll a little weather on the 7th. Live look outside of Television City, starting to lighten up. See just a sliver there along the horizon. Should be a gorgeous, gorgeous morning, but it's a cold one outside, that is for sure. Normally this time of year, we'd only bottom out around 36 degrees. Well, you got a whole bunch of places that are below 36, and one of those being Joplin. 34 degrees is where we're at 7th and Rangeline. Gotten as low as 26 in Iola and Neodesha, as high as 41 up in Anderson. Miami at 37, Pittsburgh only at 29. Now we factor in the wind, and what does that mean? Oh, it means that we've gotten wind chills like 17 degrees in Carthage, 18 degrees in Webb City, and a huge difference from where we were just 24 hours ago, about 30 to 35 degree difference. Skywatch storm tracker, the cloud cover hanging around just south of the I-44 corridor, slowly slipping off to the southeast. Everybody will get sunshine today. It's going to be dry as well, to the fact we're a little bit of an elevated fire risk for our southern counties. But with that being said, no watches or warnings currently in effect for us. I also want to point out that even though you don't see a freeze or frost warning or advisory up there, After an afternoon in the 50s, we are going to repeat, if not get a little bit colder, for early tomorrow morning. So if you're going to go outside around 3 a.m. tomorrow morning to check out the maximum time during the partial lunar eclipse, you are going to want to be layered up. Now, the nice thing is our skies are going to be absolutely pristine for checking out the partial eclipse. Friday, clouds grow a little bit, not a bad thing, because that will do a great job helping our overnight lows get back into the 40s and 50s for Friday and Saturday. One of the men accused of murdering Ahmaud Arbery took the stand in his own defense yesterday, tearfully telling his version of what led to the shooting, and doing so for the first time in public. Bradley Blackburn with more on the trial.
I want to give my side of the story. I want to explain what happened.
In front of a jury, Travis McMichael told his version of the event the world has witnessed on cell phone camera, the moments before he shot and killed Ahmaud Arbery.
It was obvious that he was attacking me, that if he would have got the shotgun from me, then it was this is a life or death situation.
McMichael says it began after his father, Gregory McMichael, spotted Arbery running from a construction site. They believed he was stealing and confronted him with a shotgun, intending to make a citizen's arrest.
And then I said, hey, the police are on the way. As soon as I said the police, he turned and ran straight back down.
But prosecutors say there is no evidence Arbery stole anything, and they question McMichael about his law enforcement training in the Coast Guard.
So you learned as part of your time in the military that you can't force people to speak with you.
That's correct.
Okay. And that if someone walks away, you have to let them walk away.
Yes.
The McMichaels and their neighbor William Bryan are each charged with murder and federal hate crimes. Outside the courthouse, Arbery's mother responded to the testimony.
And Travis is alive. I mean, the tears he shedded today can you imagine the tears that we have shared?
McMichael will take the stand again today. Prosecutors have said they may ask McMichael about allegations he uttered a racial slur as he stood over Arbery's body. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Arbery trial also facing some controversy and scrutiny over the makeup of the jury. 11 of the 12 jurors are white in a county that is nearly 27% black. We'll be back with Healthwatch right after this.
Topping Healthwatch this morning, throughout the pandemic, Pope Francis has spoken about the healing power of prayer. And now a mother whose young son recently met the Pope says there's nothing more powerful. CBS's Chris Livesay has the story.
It's not easy to upstage the Pope, unless you're Paolo Bonavita, the 10-year-old Italian boy enchanted by Francis and his cap. The Pope offered that seat as a compromise, but persistence pays, and Paolo walked away with the prize. It turns out simply going up and down the stairs was the real prize for a boy with severe epilepsy and autism, says his mom, Elsa Mora, especially after his health took yet a new turn for the worse. The doctor was almost certain it was a brain tumor, she says, but Francis told her he would pray for Paolo. He took my hand and said, "For you, the impossible does not exist." About 3 weeks later, she understood what that meant. She says doctors told her his test results showed no sign of cancer, and his symptoms have improved. His classmates are elated. He taught us a lesson, they say, that when you need to do something, do it with all your heart.
And what would you like to tell the Pope?
Thank you, she says, for the miracle. Chris Livesay, CBS News, Southern Italy.
New analysis by the CDC finds an estimated 30% of healthcare workers in the U.S. hospitals remain unvaccinated against COVID-19. Researchers found vaccination rates were highest among workers at children's hospitals, and that overall healthcare personnel vaccination rates slowed down in the fall. Following a low-calorie diet may be key for adults with type 2 diabetes. Researchers in Scotland found those diets, along with formula meal replacements, were more effective in weight management and diabetes remission than food-based diets alone. Researchers are sounding the alarm about the effect of global warming on our heart health. They found extreme heat events are putting people with cardiovascular disease at greater risk of hospitalization and even death. Study authors say more research will help identify optimal cooling strategies during heat waves. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Look at the Skywatch storm tracker. Just some cloud cover hanging around down to the south. Lost our good shot of the moon. It's now dipped too low, but we'll get back to the moon here in just a little bit. No precipitation. We are going to be dry for the next several days. It's chilly when you walk outside. We've down to 25 right now in Parsons, Neodesha, and Iola. Carthage is at 33, Miami at 36. Now, our afternoon planner will eventually move us up into the 50s, so we're going to be headed in the right direction. Northwest wind, 10 to 15 miles per hour. And overnight, because we still have very, very clear skies, we're going to drop down below the freezing mark once again. Now, speaking of overnight, that's when we've got our partial lunar eclipse. It's going to be at its max time in the central portion of the 4 states around 3 a.m. on Friday morning, and gives you an idea right there on your right-hand side, the best times. It's one of those things where right here, there's no sense in going out at midnight. You're not going to be able to see anything. You start to pick up some action there around 1:15, and then max out around 3, and then we get into the 3/4 portion, probably about 4:45. So that's why I'm trying to knock this out now, because we'll kind of be talking about what did happen at this point in time yesterday morning as compared to it coming up. And if you want to check out those times, it's as easy as timeanddate.com. We'll get a little cloud cover for Friday night, and that'll help us keep those overnight lows from getting too cold as we head into really a nice weekend, 60s on Saturday.
Coming up, the Dallas County, Missouri Sheriff confirms finding the remains of kidnapping victim Cassidy Rainwater. And students at St. Anne's Catholic School in Carthage get a chance to show off their hard work on a history project. Also, Carthage hosts hometown holidays with fun for the entire family and a synthetic ice skating rink.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is 6:30. I'm Tanya Bach. We'll get to those stories in just a moment, but first, let's go to Michael Hayslip.
What a gorgeous look outside of Television City. I hope that person who's parked right here in our drive has the heater going. They're definitely going to need it right now because it is a cold one. Our average low for November the 18th should be around 36 degrees. We're finding places that are hard pressed to get to 36. Joplin's just been hanging at about 34 and 35 all morning long. That humidity also too going to play a factor for this afternoon and evening. Temperatures ranging, these are actual temperatures, 25 up to 36. We lost our lone 40 up there. 37, I guess, in Cassville. Everybody right at, if not a skosh below or a skosh above. But when we factor in the northwest breeze, our wind chills have dropped as low as 17 in Carthage, and now we're rolling 18 in Neodesha, Webb City, and Mount Vernon. Bundle up when you and the kiddos head outside. Cloud cover, southeastern portion. It's dry though. It's abnormally dry to the point where we have an elevated fire risk for our southernmost counties that'll last really through tomorrow, because tomorrow is going to be a little bit abnormally dry as well. Sunshine today lifts us up into the low to mid 50s, and no worries on the Skywatch storm tracker. If you're going to be out and about and check out that partial lunar eclipse tomorrow morning, you will be in luck. Clear skies, but very cold weather. And then we actually get some cloud cover on Friday afternoon and evening. No rain to worry about, but look at the difference that it makes as far as our overnight lows. We're in the 20s right now. We'll be in the 20s tomorrow, and that cloud cover will allow us to stay in the 40s for Friday into Saturday.
All right, well.
Makes a big difference.
It's going to be so cold tonight. I'm not used to it, so. You've got that new hoodie blanket to keep you warm.
I'll have that on, along with about 18 other layers and gloves.
Yeah. I've been in search of the gloves that we had from last year in our house, and I've determined that we're not going to find them. And I'm just going to have to go buy new gloves.
Well, I mean,
I've been looking for them for about 2 weeks, and they're just gone.
it's about time to go invest.
I know. The problem is the second I go purchase new ones,
You'll find them.
we'll find them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like clockwork.
That's how it works. That's how it always works. Stocking caps, gloves, everything. All right, thanks. I found the bag they're supposed to be in, but it was empty.
Bah! Then they may be a goner then.
Yeah. All right. Well, moving along, the Dallas County, Missouri Sheriff says investigators have confirmed that a body found on the property of a kidnapping suspect is that of the victim, Cassidy Rainwater. And now prosecutors have filed new first-degree murder charges against James Phelps and Timothy Norton for Rainwater's death. The prosecutor also charged them with the abandonment of a corpse. They each face kidnapping charges in Rainwater's disappearance. You can read more about this story on our website at koamnewsnow.com. Students at St. Anne's Catholic School in Carthage on Wednesday presented all their hard work on a history project. 3rd through 6th grade students researched the lives, cultures, countries, and traditional foods of some Catholic saints. It's part of the school's annual cultural night.
It helped me get around the school, get to know the people. It helped me get better, not to be shy. It helped me with my social skills and about my saint and how because the more I do this project, the more saints I get to explore, and I get to talk about them with other people so they can know.
The event also featured a raffle. On Wednesday, Vision Carthage announced its holiday event plans. They're calling it Hometown Holidays, and it will run from November 26th through January 1st. The event will feature 5 activities, including a synthetic ice skating rink.
So, come into the village and enjoy all of the fun things, all the inflatables. They're kind of inflatables on steroids is what I call them. And then, and of course, experience the ice skating as well. It's a synthetic ice skating rink, so it's not real ice. So it doesn't matter if it's 70 degrees or, 30 degrees like today, so.
General admission to the event will be $10 per person, but only $5 for Carthage residents. As the temperatures drop, some folks in Joplin are chasing the chill. It's an annual event aimed at collecting scarves, caps, and gloves to keep 4-staters warm.
So we basically collect it, and then the second week of December every year we go out into the city with our volunteers. We attach it to a love note, we leave it on a bench, a tree, basically yarn bomb the city to let people know they can go out and get those. There's no expectations, requirements, or anything. You're just welcome to pick it up.
Chase the Chill says so far they've collected about 300 scarves. Pittsburgh Chamber of Commerce introduces a new series to get more women-owned businesses in Pittsburgh and to offer assistance to those who are already here. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky has more on the Chamber's Women in Business Entrepreneur series.
Gloria Montez, owner of Montez Roofing, says being a woman-owned business comes with its challenges.
We are a woman-owned and minority-owned in the state of Kansas. Scary. It just, brings pressure.
And the city's Chamber of Commerce wants to help women business owners like Montez.
The kickoff of our first of a 4-part series that we're going to offer business owners.
It's called the Women in Business Entrepreneur Series. Its goal to get more women-owned businesses here in Pittsburgh and help out those already established here.
We wanted to bring something to the community and to those if they're thinking about opening a business. In the midst of coming out of COVID, people have taken their side hustle and made it a business.
Through the series, the Chamber aims to teach Pittsburgh women what they need to know to take the next step towards starting their business.
Start off on the right foot, learn what the difference is between a corporation, an LLC, cash flow, what those projections are like, and also we will have a panelist discussion there from 3 women-owned businesses that have started their own business and are in their own building.
The Chamber is joining forces with Pitt State's Small Business Development Center, something Montez is familiar with.
The Kansas Small Business Development at Pitt State, they're able to help with writing a business plan. So that kind of helped me a lot in getting started and getting the ball rolling.
And no matter if you're starting out or already have a business, the Chamber hopes they can help all female entrepreneurs. In Pittsburgh, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
The series will kick off December 2nd at the Block 22 Conference Room in downtown. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News.
Kenosha, Wisconsin is on edge as jury deliberations continue in the trial of Kyle Rittenhouse. I'm Bradley Blackburn with why his attorneys are now asking for a mistrial again and why the National Guard is standing by.
Plus, the Chiefs are helping the less fortunate with a toy drive. We want to know how you will help those who are in need. We let you weigh in, but first it's 6:37.
Chilly Thursday morning. We got a substantial number of places below the freezing mark right now. Eventually top out in the mid-50s, so it won't be too bad. But then overnight, back down to 28. Nice weekend ahead, though. Just wait till Saturday. We'll kick in the 60s and be back with Nation Watch next.
Topping Nation Watch this morning, President Biden was in the Motor City, Detroit, yesterday to tout federal investments in electric vehicles as part of the newly signed $1 trillion physical infrastructure law. Back in Washington, congressional Democrats are also pushing the clean energy proposals in the larger Build Back Better bill, which the House still hopes to take up in the coming days. Skylar Henry is at the White House with more.
Anybody want to jump in the back?
President Biden visited a General Motors electric vehicle plant in Detroit, Michigan. The third stop on his tour to promote the bipartisan physical infrastructure law.
The infrastructure bill the president signed this week is a critical step in investing in our future.
Billions of dollars will be invested in electric buses, building a nationwide network of electric vehicle charging stations and reducing emissions. President Biden and congressional Democrats also continue to push the Build Back Better Act, which includes roughly $500 billion to combat climate change.
President Biden and I are working day and night to make sure this bill gets done.
Republicans have bashed the social spending plan, which includes provisions to lower child care, health care, and housing costs in the wake of rising inflation.
The hardworking men and women of this country cannot afford to be guinea pigs in a socialist experiment where Democrats try to inflate their way out of inflation.
Democrats and the White House argue the bill is paid for and will help ease inflation, but party moderates are awaiting the bill's cost predictions from the Congressional Budget Office this week.
When the CBO analysis comes back, which I expect and hope will match with what the White House and Treasury's estimates, we'll be able to move forward without delay.
House Democratic leaders also say they want to vote on the Build Back Better Act this week. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
Today, President Biden will host the leaders of Canada and Mexico at the White House for what will be the first North American Leaders Summit since 2016. The jury enters its third day of deliberations in Kyle Rittenhouse's homicide trial. The 18-year-old faces 5 counts, including first-degree intentional homicide, and faces up to life in prison. CBS's Bradley Blackburn has details.
2 people were arrested Wednesday outside the courthouse in Kenosha, Wisconsin, as the community remains on edge while awaiting a verdict in Kyle Rittenhouse's homicide trial.
I believe in what that kid did. I think they ought to give the kid a pat in the back, give him his weapons back, tell him job well done.
What we saw was 2 people killed. The verdict must show some accountability for the loss of life.
500 National Guard troops are standing by if things get out of hand. Residents like Scott Carpenter hope to avoid a repeat of last year's violence that burned his furniture store to the ground.
I pray that it stays peaceful, that cooler heads will prevail, and we realize that burning down our town is not how to act.
Inside the courtroom, jury deliberations are entering a third day.
We would have done this case in a little bit different manner.
Yesterday, Rittenhouse's team asked for a mistrial over this drone video that shows him killing Joseph Rosenbaum. The defense had a lower quality version until recently.
We didn't have the quality of evidence that the state had until the case had been closed.
Prosecutors say they did not intentionally give the defense a different version. The judge says he will rule on the request if there is a guilty verdict. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News.
Well, the mistrial request, the second by the defense, is without prejudice, meaning there could be a new trial. Prosecutors argue that the defense's video expert likely watched that lower quality video and did not take issue with it. That's a look at today's top national stories. Let's check back in with Michael for our Something to Talk About.
Thank you, Tanya. This morning on the KOAM News Now Facebook page and our morning Instapoll, service during the holidays. Kansas City Chiefs with a great reputation for giving back to communities. Take, for example, Sunday when the Chiefs hosted the Raiders at Arrowhead. They also hosted their annual Toys for Tots drive. Makes a huge difference to families struggling to get by and may not have the funds for things like Christmas present. Spirit of Giving takes many other forms as well, not just for the Chiefs, but for many members of you right here in the 4 states. So our specific Insta poll question is, how do you plan on helping out for the holidays? 29% of you donate money and goods. So we've got 4% spending time with the needy, 9% taking part in an event, and 58% saying other. Once again, doesn't matter what you do, as long as you keep other people in your mind and help them out when possible. 2 ways to connect with us each and every morning. 1, our Facebook page, KOAM News Now, or if you'd like to go straight to the poll, koamnewsnow.com/vote. We'll be back and celebrate birthdays and anniversaries right after this.
We take this time to honor today's 4-state hero, Ronald Gilbert, who served in the U.S. Air Force during the Vietnam War. A native of Seneca, Missouri, Gilbert earned several awards. We are proud to thank Chief Master Sergeant Ronald Gilbert, our 4-state hero.
Marlowe begins our birthday list off, celebrating number 11, mask in hand. Braylon, a happy birthday to you, my friend, in Uniontown.
All right. John Shields turning 15 years old this year. Happy birthday, John, in Chanute, Kansas.
In Bronson, Joey Marlowe, now turning 16 years old. Handing the keys. Go get the license, my man. Happy birthday, Joey.
Right. In Pittsburgh, celebrating birthday number 17 this year, it's Roman Hurlbert. Happy birthday, Roman. Hope it's a great one.
Sarah Goebel celebrating a 17th birthday as well. A little Girard Trojan pride out on the volleyball court. Sarah, have a great day. She is in Girard.
All right, Sydney Frankenberry turning
Ooh, that is
18 years old this year. Already 18, with love from Grandma and Grandpa.
Happy birthday, Sid. Great young woman right there. Have a great day, my friend. Hey, look who's back.
We gotcha.
Jared Ludwig. He is on your right. He is from Edna. And Jared, I know we got you on yesterday, but because of your service and when a great picture like that, we wanted to make sure that we celebrated it once again. So thank you for your patience, Jared. A very happy birthday, a big 40th happy birthday to you, and a thank you for your service from all of us here at KOAM as well.
Turning 40 on a Wednesday. We know he's going to be celebrating all the way through to the weekend. We like that. Happy birthday, Jared. In Pittsburgh, Brandy Duncan celebrating birthday number 44 this year. Happy birthday, Brandy.
Out in Chanute, Michelle Clounch. I love it. She's celebrating her 50th birthday. I hope the birthday party is as good as that party was right there. That's going to be a whole lot of fun. Happy birthday, Miss Michelle.
And in Columbus, Tracy Clugston, happy birthday to you.
We got one more to go. Let's give her a screen all to herself. Oh, I wish Teresa. There it is. Trey was back there making the font 87 point. He's like, I'm gonna make this worthwhile. Shout out Trey Dawson coming in running our graphics this week. Trey's like, watch what I can do with Teresa Brooks' birthday. Boom. Make it huge. Give her screen. Teresa, a very happy birthday in the big font as she celebrates in Iola. A happy birthday and happy anniversary to all. You can send them into koamnewsnow.com. You got an email choice, you got an online choice. Remember, to do the email, don't forget that is birthdays plural, birthdays with an S. And make sure you put in the old subject line or the body of the email itself exactly what day you want it to run on. And now here's Tanya Bach with a very important birthday announcement.
That's right. You can be a part of the KOAM Birthday Club by going to our website and signing up. And once you do, you'll get special deals from local businesses. Go to KOAMnewsnow.com and sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club today.
Little cloud cover hanging on too, even down there, and it's actually played a role in our temperatures because where we see those slivers of clouds, it hasn't gotten as cold as what it has to the places that cleared off earlier, and that would be up to the northwest. That's why we've got Iola and Neodesha sitting at 25. Compare that to Neosho and Anderson that are sitting at 35. And so when we actually do get some additional cloud cover Friday night, it's going to make a big difference for everybody. But we got to get to Friday night first. first things first, how about a little warm up? Sunshine's going to get us into the, well, let's say low to mid 50s today, but also too, elevated fire risk down to the south because we are so dry. And then as we push into Thursday night into Friday morning, back down below the freezing mark. Remember, if you're interested in the partial lunar eclipse, and actually about 99% of the moon is going to be covered. It's, when I say partial, I want you to think it's just like halfway. It's going to be impressive, and we'll hit our peak time about 3 a.m. tomorrow morning. So bundle up if you are going to do that. But then at least on Friday and Saturday, we're warming up slowly but surely. Oh, going to be a nice looking weekend too. That rain on Sunday should not be widespread. We just don't have a whole lot of Gulf moisture to really combine with the front that's going to move in from Canada. So not a whole lot of action can even transpire. And at least we get to have our overnight lows move up into the 40s and 50s for Friday and Saturday. We'll be right back. Wrap up this edition of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. All eligible adults in Kansas can now receive COVID booster shots. Governor Laura Kelly and the Kansas Department of Health and Environment announced on Wednesday all fully vaccinated Kansans over the age of 18 are now eligible for the booster. Those seeking a booster shot must still wait 6 months after their primary vaccination from either Moderna or Pfizer and 2 months for those who received the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Students at St. Anne's Catholic School in Carthage on Wednesday presented all their hard work on a history project. 3rd through 6th grade students researched the lives, cultures, countries, and traditional foods of some Catholic saints. It's part of the school's annual cultural night. And on Wednesday, Vision Carthage announced its holiday event plans. They're calling it Hometown Holidays, and it will run from November 26th through January 1st. The event will feature 5 activities, including a synthetic ice skating rink. Pittsburgh Area Chamber is bringing a new series to the area aimed at women-owned businesses. The Women in Business Entrepreneur Series is taking place in 4 parts to help people get a jump start on their businesses. It's aimed at both those who already own stores and women who want to get started. The classes will help women in the area learn how to turn their ideas into success. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
Beautiful start to our morning. There we are outside of Television City, going to get all kinds of different colors with the light cloud cover that we still have here. Majority of the clouds now moving south of I-44. Temperatures are 34 in Joplin, as low as 25 in Neodesha, Parsons, and Iola, and as high as 36 in Cassville. And there's the clouds. But we need sunshine to hurry up and lift us up into the 50s. That's where we'll end up today. Northwest wind. Remember, elevated fire concerns for our southern counties dropping back down below freezing. Thursday night into Friday morning, partial lunar eclipse, maxing out 3 a.m. Friday morning.
All right, well, coming up today at noon, we're making easy pumpkin pie ice cream in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM. We've got the CBS Morning News. That is coming up next.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues.
I'm going to be talking about the eclipse.
And that sounds exciting.
I will make it exciting.
Ooh. We've got another story coming up from Jeannie Moose. I'm looking forward to that.
Okay. So flip on over to Fox 14. Join us there. Wraps it up for this Thursday edition. Stay warm. Do me a favor. Be safe. We'll do this all again tomorrow morning.
And we'll do it again today at noon.